What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So this was actually requested. I know you saw the title. I know you saw the thumbnail. We're talking about some cologne fragrances specifically that I think are great daily wear options. For those of you that are wanting to be on the lower end of the budget, smell like some more popular scent profiles, most of the time with really good performance, and get pretty close to what they're supposed to smell like. Well, I've got 10 of my personal favorites for just that in this video that I want to talk to you about. So stay tuned. Now, admittedly, with this first one, I haven't tried the original. I have a few fragrances that smell like Herba Pura from Zaharoff, but my most recent acquisition, Armaf's Club de Nuit Oud, is great. This is fresh and fruity, not too sweet, a nice little dry, somewhat sweet oud wood smell. It's more of a dry wood smell than any kind of oud funk. It's supposedly Cambodian oud, which I think adds a little bit of sweetness here, because in my experience with other fragrances that feature Cambodian oud, it's always a little on the sweeter side. So I'm not saying that's exactly the characteristic of it, because there's things like passion fruit and pineapple and things like that. There's other fruity notes to this, as well as citruses. But man, I just love the way this one smells. Performance is great on this also. Like I said, it's their newest release in the Club de Nuit line. They did a really good job with it, and it's kind of a hard fragrance to not enjoy. If you like fresh fragrances that are just attractive to others and you're looking for good performance, which I know is always a big thing with everyone, you could do a whole lot worse. I've been really enjoying this one since I got it, and I think it's the perfect fragrance to start this video with to kind of set the tone. So again, that's Armaf's Club de Nuit Oud. Now this next one is related to being a clone of YSL's La Nuit de l'Homme Bleu Electrique. Now, while I do get a tie-in relation to La Nuit de l'Homme and to La Nuit de l'Homme Bleu Electrique, the way the cardamom comes across, this is almost like if it was an aquatic version of La Nuit de l'Homme. It's from Lattafa. It's called Ejaazi Intensive Silver. Highly reflective fingerprint magnet bottle, but you can get this one between 15 and 20 bucks from the discount link down below, and it performs really well in that 6 to 8 hour range. Aromatics, like I said, bright, spicy, and fresh cardamom. There are aquatic notes here. A lot of aromatics. Has kind of this sage lavender combo smell. I don't remember the notes exactly, but the biggest trade-off for me is it has a little bit of like a violet leaf smell to it, almost violet leaf, kind of in between, because you have aquatic tones. Also makes it a little metallic and a rich violet smell, even though I don't remember it being listed in the notes. But it definitely smells very much like it. But the cardamom really shines here with these aquatic notes. Again, I get where people are coming from. It is a little on the powdery, spicy side, that La Nuit de l'Homme DNA. So I get the cross between Bleu Electrique and the original. I understand where people are coming from with it. I don't think it's one-to-one, but it definitely walks that path. I'm not going to sit here and act like it doesn't. But for 15 to 20 bucks, man, this is hard to beat, because what it smells like are typically known as evening fragrances, but this has all of the freshness and watery notes that would make it such a great daytime daily wear option. Again, that's from Lattafa. This is Ejaazi Intensive Silver. This next one from Paris Corner is almost like the third fragrance in the line when it comes to Raja Parfum's Apex, because it's not as earthy as the Eau de Parfum. It's not as dense or as fruity as the Parfum. It's kind of like Apex Eau Fraiche is how I've described it in the past. We're talking about Paris Corner's Vertex. This is one of their better releases from last year. Very fresh green, citric, and fruity. You get a little bit of earthy tones, a light smoky nuance. This one kind of falls in the 6 hour range, versus those being, the originals from Raja Parfums being absolute monsters, but the quality's not the same tier. But the scent profile is that good. This is a much more warm weather appropriate take on that scent profile. Again, very much like if there was a Apex Eau Fraiche, it would be this, where it's still for something named Eau Fraiche. It performs really, really well. Has a lot of the green elements with intensified freshness over both versions of Apex. And that's why I like this one. It kind of stands on its own while still sharing that DNA. You can tell that's the fragrance line and fragrance DNA that we're going for is Raja Parfum's Apex, but it also is kind of on its own with the way the profile comes across without being exactly like either. Just a fresher take on it as a whole. Good stuff. Doesn't get enough love in my opinion. Again, that's Paris Corner's Emir Vertex. Now, the more I spray this one, the more it becomes so indispensably ridiculous how accurate it is to Raja Parfum's Elysium Parfum Cologne. The blue bottle. This is from SCENTual Obsessions. Get that to focus for you real quick. Because this is heaven exact match. So this is the 30 ml. You have heaven exact match on the side. I haven't spent a ton of time with this one. The little bit of time I have spent with it, though, I remember the first time I smelled it, I thought, oh, it's a little bit more synthetic than the Parfum. And then Kevin came in my live chat and like, no, it's an exact match of the Parfum Cologne. I'm like, oh, well, in that case, yeah, it is pretty damn spot on. Because the Parfum Cologne, the blue bottle of Elysium, the first, the first blue bottle, not the new Eau Intense, smells like a more synthetic version of the Parfum. That's exactly what this is. It's really good. Sharp, metallic, inky citrus, bright grapefruit, woodsy, fresh, little touch of leather as it dries. Kevin did a great job with this, I have to say. Shout outs to Kevin Holt. SCENTual Obsessions, they always have some impressive stuff. Now look, would I recommend everything they've ever put out? No. I always highlight my favorites when I talk about SCENTual Obsession. All of the different versions of Bond No. 9's Andy Warhol that he's come out with over the years, for example. But this is actually quite impressive. Dare I say, maybe the best Elysium Parfum Cologne clone I've smelled, because it's bold to call it an exact match unless it's actually an exact match. And you'd be hard-pressed to prove to me that you can tell the difference. Pretty damn close. Great daily wear because, it's Elysium. Again, that's from SCENTual Obsessions. This is called Heaven Exact Match. Now, if you like Prodalome, let's say you wish it lasted longer, even though I've never had any performance issues with Prodalome, if you tone down the brightness of the opening because you cranked up the oil concentration, you would have Makin Scents Iris Man. Because Makin Scents Iris Man is spot on. You get all of that soapy white floral, powdery iris. You get the Neroli iris combo with the pepper, the cardamom. It is so accurate. It still impresses me to this day because it's been a while since I've had it. I actually did a full review on this one. Michael Dinsmore knocked it out of the park. He actually has Iris Man Intense as well. That's always right here in arm's reach for me to sniff. Spot on Prodalome Intense. But Prodalome, his clone of Prodalome is much more impressive because it's a better daily wear option. Prodalome's known as a great everyday office fragrance, which I think it's a little more complex and deserves even more respect than just being an office fragrance. This is one that you can stand out anywhere you go. Daily wear, casual, semi-casual, dressed up, however you want to be. But the difference here is it's an extrait de parfum concentration. It's the same balance and formula. He got it right, but because it's cloning an eau de toilette designer, you lose all the brightness of the eau de toilette. So it's not as loud in the opening, but it lasts forever on my skin. That's the trade-off. It's a 12-hour fragrance on my skin. It smells exactly the same, just not as bright. So if you're looking for a phenomenal option like Prodalome, check out Makin Scents Iris Man. Now this is still my favorite from Fragrance World. They really knocked it out the park here. It's a little bit spicier than what it's cloning, and the dry down's a little bit creamier. But this is Fragrance World's F Le Parfum. It's a clone of YSL's Y Le Parfum. The Y DNA, all of them are great daily wear fragrances. The Le Parfum's a lot of people's favorite. My favorite in the line as well. And they nailed it down. Like I would say, it's every bit of 90 to 95% accurate. Performs pretty much the same. Gives all of the same aldehydes and grapefruit fruitiness in the top. The ginger. It's so good. I actually wear this more than my bottle of Y Le Parfum. I reach for this one more when I'm in the mood for the DNA. I keep telling myself because it's quicker to get to. I don't know. I think it just because it's so impressive for how accurate it is of cloning one of my favorite blue fragrances ever. So I did do a full review on this one as well. If you want to see more information beyond what you're getting here, a full breakdown of what I get from it after testing. But man, this is good stuff. Well above average performance. Pretty spot on to Y Le Parfum, which makes it a great everyday mass appealing compliment getting type of fragrance. And that's Fragrance World's F Le Parfum. Now, Tarathi Blue is great from Afnan. Rubrocatherum is great. Afnan's sister brand. I have both of those. I haven't tried Black Panther. because every time we talk about Bulgari's Tigar, Black Panther gets brought up. But Paris Corner recently released their North Stag Expressions collection, and this is number 1. I just did a full review of this one. This makes me very happy. I like it more than Tarathi Blue. Man, I think because it's a little spicier. And Ambroxan, spices, woods, grapefruit. I mean, it's going to say citruses, but it's grapefruit. It's a spiced, juicy, but spiced grapefruit smell. Warm wood smell, warm ambery, amber wood type of thing, if you will. Great performance. I really dig this one. I spent a decent amount of time with it last week. Probably going to throw it back in the rotation here within the next few days. This is good stuff. This entire collection of 4 fragrances seems to be really well. I've done 2 full reviews so far on 1 and 2, and 2. I'm going to do Quatre next, and I'm going to do Trois fourth. Believe it or not, I'm going to do number 3 fourth because it's my least favorite. But man, if you want a phenomenal Tigar experience, this is it, because spicy citrus and warm woods is great every day. This is a gorgeous blue fragrance. Again, that's Paris Corner's North Stag. We got to have something Aventus if we're going to talk about everyday wear, because that's a phenomenal everyday wear scent profile. So Khadlaj has this great fragrance called Infini Absolute. So why do I pick this one of all the fragrances that smell like Aventus? Because this one, the quality's good, first and foremost. Super affordable. And it's a woody take on Aventus. It's a nice dominant woodsy vetiver smell. It's a little on the smoky side, blackcurrant heavy, not overly pineapple fruity, but it's all there. On the musky side, you don't get the heavy florals and vanilla and stuff like that. Like, it's very much a twist on Aventus, not one-to-one. Like I said before, it's less. It doesn't have the sweetness of the vanilla, and it cranks up this vetiver note that makes it nice and woodsy without adding too much of an earthy tone. Performance is above average. This is every bit in the 8-hour range on my skin, and you can find this one for a really good price online. Like I said, I'll have links down below. Actually, another one I did a full review on. I did a full review on most of the ones in this video because it's ones that I enjoyed so much, I would just continue to test them to where I did a full individual dedicated review video on them. And this is definitely one of them. If you want a great woodsy interpretation of Aventus to wear every day, for the low, get Infini Absolute from Khadlaj. Have you ever smelled Neroli Portofino from Tom Ford and just wish it lasted longer? Well, this isn't the cheapest clone out there, but if you want the most accurate and best performing version that I've tried anyways, you're going to want to check out Haramain's Portfolio series. This is Neroli Canvas, and you're going to pay a premium for this one. This one's in like that $70 range, but the quality is really, really good here. And the scent profile is spot on. Citruses, a little bit of orange blossom, I believe, heavy neroli smell, a little woodsy, fresh and green. Soapy. The best Neroli fragrance DNA ever. Neroli Portofino. I'm sorry, it's the best Neroli fragrance I've ever smelled. And this particular bottle has been what stopped me from buying Tom Ford Neroli Portofino, because I get decent performance out of that. I've tried it. I get like 6 hours. I'm cool with that. I get like 10 to 12 out of this. And the quality is not much of a... I really can't pick much of a difference here. There's no real trade-off to quality. It's much more affordable, even though it's not super cheap. It's definitely much more affordable than getting the 50 ml Tom Ford Neroli Portofino. This is good stuff. This is really good stuff. I would definitely encourage you checking this one out if you're looking for what I deem to be, at least there's no such thing as best, but it's definitely my favorite of the things that smell like Neroli Portofino that I enjoy. So if you like Neroli, you want a nice, fresh, soapy, woodsy green fragrance with real performance, check out Haramain's Portfolio series, Neroli Canvas. Last but not least, let's talk about Abercrombie & Fitch Fierce. Most people will want to tell you that's an evening fragrance, and sure, it can excel in evening situations, but it's very musky, fresh, has some fruitiness to it, very much a daytime scent profile. Even though it's alluring and attractive, it's still very much a great daily option. In fact, this particular clone of it, I've never worn in the evening. The sun has never been out when I sprayed this one on. It is from Alexandria Fragrances. This is called Ferocity. I wore this one not that long ago. This literally to me smells like Abercrombie & Fitch Fierce in all its synthetic glory, but with performance cranked up. This is 10 to 12 hours on my skin. I do go nose blind to it. Heavy cologne, ambroxan kind of thing going here. But has all that beautiful, fresh, spicy, musky woodiness. Little bit of fruitiness, like a crisp apple smell to it. I don't remember the notes exactly, but man, this is so fierce. Like, down to matching the quality, which is on the synthetic side. It's not like it's some high quality version. It's not like Percival. Percival's a higher quality version of that scent profile. Whereas for less money, you get Percival Performance with a more accurate representation of fierce from Alexandria Fragrances. Ferocity is that good. It is that jam. I would encourage you to check it out. Sure, cloning, that DNA has been done to death, just like Aventus. Maybe not. Nothing's been cloned to death the way Aventus has, but this has had its share, from designers to clone houses to niche, you name it. Alexandria did a really, really good job here, bringing to life what people wish they got out of modern day fierce in this bottle. And it's Alexandria Fragrances. This is Ferocity. Well, that's the 10 that I have for you today. And until next time, do me a real quick favor. Go ahead and like, comment, subscribe, because I do appreciate all the feedback and I love hearing from you guys. Of these 10, have you tried any of these? Are you familiar with any of them? Were they for you? Were they not for you? Some of your favorites, some that you're like, oh, forgot I had that. Or is it something that you feel compelled to get a sample of or something? Check out a bottle. Get your nose on it for yourself and see if you like it. Definitely let me know down in the comments. I'm very curious. And until next time, I will say, if you get your hands on any of the 10 that I featured in this video and you give them a spray now, you might end up thanking me later. Have a good one, guys.